KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. And right now, we bring to you Dallas Cowboys owner, general manager, Jerry Jones, brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford, built for Texas, built for you. Jerry, how are you this morning?
Great, guys. Good to be on with you. And Kevin, you and Mike and Corey. Boy, a beautiful, bright day out here. And our team just left the field where I'm talking to you. I have the best view you could possibly have and the most succinct view of everything we do on the practice field. And, of course, I can step right down the way about 30, 40 feet and see everything that's going on in anything we're doing indoors. So it's great, and I can't tell you how great it feels to just be playing football. Normally, I would, if I left our practice facility in Oxnard, California, and we'd normally have our team out there, and we'd be doing our training camp at Oxnard. Well, sometime during the course of a day or every other day, I would get out and get on that Highway 1.
Yeah.
101. And I would drive like you were, you were going toward Los Angeles or back up toward Santa Barbara. Look out there in that ocean and that openness and all of the things that you could believe that were in that water. Drive along and just have to pinch myself and say, is this really getting to be a part of something you love, football, at the same time be in this kind of atmosphere? Well, believe it or not, I feel that way now. And I'm not just trying to rah or jump up and down, but, man, I would have died if somehow I had missed what we're going through and what we're doing to have a football season for the Cowboys, and certainly as it pertains to the NFL. It would have been a real loss to have not gotten to step out here every day, look at the challenges that we've got every day. Boy, if you think you're doing anything out here that looks like business as usual, you're probably doing it wrong. You need to be the antithesis of what you've ever done, whether it be the way you group on the practice field or the way we approach our media. You guys may or may not have been out here, but I'm so proud of where we've got the media located to really watch what's going on at our practices. So, the whole deal is a new experience, but what an experience. I'm so excited about playing football, and I'm going to be so proud when I'm telling this story years from now and say, boy, we did it. We pulled it off. We got our NFL season. We played it. The Cowboys played it. Maybe even we can say we kicked their ass while we were playing it.
Well, I know we're all hopeful, especially for that last part, but we're also hopeful, and in your Welcome to Training Camp discussion, you talked about fans being at the games. Now, not a lot of teams have gone in this direction quite yet. What makes you so confident that we can have fans at AT&T Stadium cheering on the Cowboys?
Well, I really want to kind of lead that question with just a word. Think of fresh air. Think of openness. Think of a lot of room, a lot of space. Now, that's the way football is played. Football, by tradition, is probably as open as certainly baseball's open, but it's space, it's elements, it's air, it's airflow, it's movement. Now, if you think about one of the biggest challenges we've got in COVID, and we keep everybody going to it, one of the only things we put our finger on is, boy, it's probably better to be outdoors. It's probably better to be in the air. It's probably better to be where it's really freshness is involved. I'm sitting out here looking at about as much space as I want to look at where we're practicing right now. When we have an indoor meeting, just a meeting like normally might have been in a room, we have it in an arena out here where there's 20,000 people can get in it normally. And that meeting is sitting there with 80 people, 90 people. Those are our players and our coaches staff. Space. Having said that, that's what we have at our stadium. We have space. Now, yeah, we have the ability to enclose it, but we've got the ability to open it wide open. There's 3 million square feet of air-conditioned space out there, the largest arena there is in the world that can be air-conditioned. And we can open that up so that when I think about playing our games out there, I want our fans to think about space. You could have a few hundred fans come in from one side of the building, and they be as far away from the other side of the building or the other corner as if they won and were in Dallas and the others in Fort Worth.
Oh.
And so my point is, space is what we're trying to take advantage of. We have it. We have, of course, the ability at our stadium. We're speaking to our fans now coming to the games. But that's the largest space, air condition there is that I know of. Well, we can even open that up, and consequently, we're going to be able to have the best distancing. We're going to be able to have not only the safest procedures that we will have had the benefit of hindsight on the day they come in mid-September. We will have had all this time to do the best job we can. We won't spare anything to make it safe. Your team is going to be spaced out. The game has times when the players do get a little close, but in general, just think space and then think care. Nobody has to be on that football field that doesn't want to be on that football field. Nobody has to be in those stands or in that stadium that doesn't want to be there. Nobody that's uncomfortable not being there should be there. It should be a feeling about it, and we should actually have if you will, a special feeling, which I think football can do for us because it's an open space mentality. Now, I'm speaking a lot of arm waving here and a lot of mentality, but that's the shape I want our minds to be in. That's the shape I want this football team to be in. Let's go do it. Let's get out here and do it, and we're going to do it as the best way there is to get together to enjoy what we can do as a team this year, and let's pull it off.
So, Jerry, listening to that, that's an awesome answer. And just to kind of further maybe, as a fan of the Cowboys, does that mean that you're going to have kind of the roof open and the gates open, or you feel like, because you're talking about the air conditioning unit too, you can still, if your first home game is 95 degrees, that you can have it closed and still feel comfortable?
Yeah, you're in the weeds, and you say, well, isn't one of the reasons you have that roof that can shut and that you air condition 3 million square feet out there, isn't that the reason for fan comfort? Well, it is, but guess what? We've always known if you open that roof and just open one door that you can suck like it was a vacuum cleaner. We know the kind of airflow you can create with a combination of those doors and roof. So we will manage that, and we will play the game. Not the game literally, but figuratively, and we will do what's best that time for that weather for the safest way to go. You say, well, does that mean somebody's going to get a little warmer than normal? If it meant having the healthiest airflow, then you might go that route this game, this year. We're going to all be doing a lot of things we haven't done before, but we're going to be doing it with a lot of thought. So without being specific, the real specific answer is we're going to be flexible. The reason I can make that statement is because we have the facility that will make it flexible. We have the willpower to do it. I'm not worried about the air conditioning bill. And so that if I need to fog it out in the middle and air condition half of North Dallas or North Texas, then we'll do it to have that football game. We will probably have 40 million people watching it.
Jerry Jones, Hall of Famer, right here on your home of the Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan. Jerry, you signed some big-name veteran free agents in the offseason who have all said they see this place as a path to the championship they've worked their careers for. How does that feel to know that they see that this is that kind of a place for you? And B, how did you guys do that relatively cheap?
Well, first of all, take this mental picture.
Mm-hmm.
One of the great things about Zeke Elliott is he's a great motivator and has been since his rookie season. But sometimes before a game, Zeke has been known to make a run around the dressing room, just kind of hitting himself on the bottom like he were riding a horse going, whoopee, let's go, let's go. And he run around the dressing room like that. And, of course, gets everybody fired up at that particular time. And so, to answer your question, I do see a talented group of players here. I see the right mix of the younger players have some experience. We've added some real talent with the draft and, frankly, in the off season. So I think that is going to actually be as good as I think that I can remember when we brought talent to the field. They're certainly fluid in the sense that if all of a sudden they come out and you had to play a quarter and a half for whatever the reason, these guys can play a quarter and a half and have a smile on their face. And I'm exaggerating. I'm just saying everybody has got the mentality. Everybody's going to be proud to be here. We're going to be prepared. We know that we didn't get spring with a lot of these guys to help them get better acclimated to the new staff and Coach McCarthy. We know we didn't get that, but nobody else did either. And so we're going to make it do. We'll make it do again for that series or that play. We're going to do the very best we can there. And I think it's more of a can do. I never got it. I never did get it. But my parents grew up in World War II. They were 20 years old in World War II. And they talked about it was hard. It was tough. Everybody was tough. And, boy, I mean, it was money was scarce, and everybody went to work. And you saw some of the most beautiful women with their sleeves rolled up like a workman and holding their arm up like a muscle. We all are in this thing. Let's get it done. But that spirit really sustained this nation, not only during the war, but after that. I feel like that. This is a real challenge the world has, and we have. And, we talk about these social issues and the many challenges we've got there. Well, really, at the end of the day, all I am is I just run the Dallas Cowboys. I'm serious. And I want to do that and do my part and put this show on this year and do it with a team that hopefully is one of the best.
Now, since you mentioned the social issues, you talked about grace in your opening training camp press conference. Have you had the opportunity to have any, follow-up dialogues with, coaches, management, players, or anything like that? And how has that all gone on a variety of complex social issues?
Well, first of all, I have, since that press conference, I've visited with everyone in our organization. By that, I mean the coaches, staff, trainers, scouts, players. I visited with everybody and shared some of the very same thoughts as well as other thoughts with them. And then I've done it on a one-way basis, which was kind of expressing my thoughts. A lot of people, not only staff but also players that we haven't worked together before. So there was an acquainting aspect to it. Now I know these people very well. They got drafted, and I have probably a book. I'm talking about the players, but it manifests itself right on back through the coaching staff and even the support staff, the coaching staff. I know them very well. I've got books on them. That's what you do when you come into football. You can find out who their next door neighbor was when they were 11. So I know them well. They don't know me in many cases that well, and so I've spent most of my time over the past days and weeks just making sure that they know where I'm coming from, and I let some others do the talking for me. And as you well know, I've got some guys that I've been with in football for 30-something years, guys like Michael Irvin and Emmett and people like that, and they can talk to these guys about the way that I am. And so we've got each other's back.
So
we
Jerry,
have each other's back, and I think that's what I said the other day when I was talking to everybody. I've got their back. Everybody knows where I stand on the anthem. Everybody knows where the Cowboys stand. But I've got everybody's back around here too, and we'll work through it as it comes.
So Jerry, I know just yesterday Lyle Collins was in a car accident. Can you give us an idea of how he's feeling?
To my knowledge, he's fine.
Okay.
To my knowledge, he's fine. What does fine mean? I know that he was having some issues with just some things on the football field, but I have not had anything that noted something at this time, this morning, that I should note.
Jerry, you told us earlier that you have the best seat, and we all agree that's a fantastic seat you have there. Anybody jumping off the field that you're like, that's the guy right there. I can't wait to see him actually get into a game.
Yeah. Well, of course, I've got to separate name or reputation sometime with some of these veteran players with what you're actually seeing. But it always looks a little better if you come in with a reputation like we've got with some of these free agents that we've had. 58 Smith speaks for himself. You guys have noted him, and if you haven't, you ought to read up on him. But let me say this: he looks like he's ready to line up against the Giants or against the Rams. But of course, our own that we know well, Lawrence Griffin. I've been able to freshen up on him, talk to him just right before practice today. And but the guy that I note is 98 Crawford, and Crawford is we know what he is in his heart. You saw him down in Florida. He's a bad boy. He's who you want on your side now. And boy, he looks on the edge here and looks excited about the makeup of his defensive group. I like some of these younger guys that we think. I think he'll. I had heard Tom Landry say that don't ever make a crisp, hard decision, especially on a defensive lineman, until 3 years from the time they leave college. You might get surprised. You might go when you should have not gone in a decision. So Hill last year, we'd like for him to have had more snaps, but I'd say I'm going to note him out there. We've got some rookies that might put some pressure for us. I'm talking about either the stand-up pass rushers or the down linemen in our front. And I'm excited about the front on this defensive football team. And if I had to say today what that I would note relative to past years, I'd say our defensive front.
Well, that's excellent post-practice insight right there, and we're excited to get this going every single week once more. Thank you very much for your time this morning, sir.
Guys, it is great to be on. This is old times, and I feel, but I want us to throw some new twists on this thing. So let's just don't let the circumstances do it. Let's have some fun this year.
Absolutely. And if at any point you want to show us the air conditioning bill for the stadium, I'd be all about that.
Well, let me say this. It's a little more than that little two-bedroom place that Gene and I lived in. We got married in college. And, boy, the worst nightmare I had in college, and I was playing football while we were married, was getting that air conditioning bill. I told my mama, I said, I just thought air conditioning came with living. I didn't know you had to pay for it. That was after I got married, of course.
That's amazing. Thank you again, good sir. We will talk with you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.